Hello, good evening. Welcome to Monday's North West Tonight with Roger Johnson. Thanks for joining us. Our top story. Celebrations in pubs and schools across the region as England get through to the quarter-finals of the World Cup.
England's going to get through. I think they're going to win the World Cup.
I've never had this feeling before, honestly. It's yeah, it actually might be.
We will chase the sunrise as fans watched Northwest players take centre stage in Mexico City. Also tonight, the remarkable story of a Lancashire church saved from imminent closure by a hoard of hidden gold coins.
We just burst into tears when we saw it. We just couldn't believe it. It was like a miracle.
We follow Rafi's life-saving operation as we mark 75 years of heart surgery for children at Liverpool's Alderhay Hospital. Showcasing accessible and stylish clothing, models grace Manchester's first Disability Pride catwalk.
And join me at the end of the programme for the very latest on the heatwave and how it's going to affect us here in the Northwest.
Did you have a late night, or was it a very early start, or maybe you couldn't care less? But across the Northwest, pubs and bars stayed open past first light this morning to watch England progress to the quarter-finals of the World Cup. Their match against one of the co-hosts in Mexico City brought a number of the region's star players to the fore, and Ian Haslam chased the sunrise around the Northwest to share the experience.
The climax to a World Cup classic, which had meant a very early start for England fans across the region. This was Bolton.
It's midnight. We're just starting work at midnight, and here we are at the Duke of Wellington pub.
I was nervous to see if I can make it through the night.
I'm flagging already, and it's only midnight.
This is our first time where we've had to come to the pub at 1 a.m. and watch the game. And watch the game overnight, yeah.
You're going to stay awake all night?
Of course.
For some, that would have been a task made harder by a weather-delayed start to the match at Mexico's Azteca Stadium.
A late game, I think it's got a bit of a different vibe to like the earlier games, because the people who are staying up for it are more committed.
We're doing good, yeah. I think after it went 2-0, I think we could have maybe cruised it, but they obviously made it 2-1. Just need to keep control now, yeah.
Are England going to win this game?
Yes!
However, with that, things got very, very tense for every supporter.
I can't believe what's happening. We're winning. It's going to finish like that. Let's go, let's go.
Tired in the morning, yeah, buzzy.
It's coming home!
How's everybody feeling right now?
Shocked. Amazing. I feel great. It's coming home. It's coming home.
Do you really believe that? We've got work in 3 hours. That is probably one of the best performances I've ever seen in England, ever.
Massively deserved it. I've never had this feeling before, honestly. It's yeah, it actually might be.
Let's hope so. Ian Haslam, BBC Northwest Tonight.
And he's still awake.
Just.
It was quite a night, wasn't it?
It was. I'm very tired now, but as you said at the start, I chased the sunrise and I caught it within 3 Greater Manchester towns. But yeah, it was a bit of a tough watch at times. I said to Bessie there in the barn, Mexico looked to make their advantage count as we saw. Didn't scrap well though, England. It was brilliant, wasn't it? There's a Northwest contingent in that squad, as we know. Jordan Pickford of Everton, it's already sparked him into action. Who knows? Now, new Manchester City signing Elliot Anderson had a steady game in midfield with his new teammates Mark Gahey and Nico O'Reilly, part of England's resolute defence. Now, a lot of people reckon this was O'Reilly's Norway in the quarter-finals after they beat Brazil 2-1 last night. I was watching that as well. This is as far as Norway has ever been at the World Cup, not least because semi-final, when they play the Norwegians on Saturday night, the winner will play Egypt or Argentina. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Indeed not. The great thing about social media is I can keep up with what you're up to wherever I am.
Oh.
Ian, thank you very much indeed. Right, lots more to come in the programme. Let's take a look at some of the other main stories that are making the headlines tonight, though. And a man's been arrested on suspicion of murdering a woman whose body was found following a fire at a farm in Rochdale. The woman's body was discovered inside the stables at Higher Tunshill Farm after firefighters were called to the blaze on Friday. The suspect, who's in his 40s, has been released on bail. A government minister says that it could change the law to deport the leader of the notorious Rochdale grooming gang. Shabir Ahmed was released last week after serving 14 years for rape and sexual offences against girls, some as young as 12. The Home Office Minister Alex Norris says nothing's off the table after the Conservatives called for the Immigration and Asylum Bill to be changed.
The idea that he might be allowed to stay in this country because of a clause in a decades-old law designed for a completely different time and context is not just absurd, but sickening. As recently as 2023, parole officers concluded that Ahmed poses, and I quote, a very high risk of serious harm to children. How can he possibly be allowed to walk the streets again?
Meanwhile, tributes were paid in the House of Commons today to the former MP for Knowsley North, Sir George Howarth, who's died at the age of 77. He represented the area for almost 38 years and served as a minister in Tony Blair's government before retiring ahead of the 2024 general election.
Our thoughts and prayers are with his wife Julie and wider family and friends. He was a great politician, and it is another sad loss to this House.
So Lindsay Hoyle there. 2 people have been charged over the theft of historic postboxes in Cheshire. 3 King George Royal Mail postboxes have been stolen in the Malpas area of Cheshire and Powys in Wales. Carl Newman and Jorga Bailey will appear at Chester Magistrates Court next month. Now, a 700-year-old church in Lancashire has been saved from closure thanks to what the vicar is calling a miracle. St Wilfrid's at Melling near Lancaster was in the process of being decommissioned when a hoard of gold coins was found hidden beneath the altar. They'd been left there 4 years ago by a mystery benefactor. The church actually kept the find secret until the coins were sold. But today, the Reverend Jane Lee shared with me what she says is an Easter miracle. There's been a church on this site since Norman times, but with £500,000 needed to fix the roof, the process had begun to close it down.
It was Good Friday, and as we were stripping the altar off, we noticed underneath the altar in the wedding kneeler there was a plastic box, and when I opened the lid, to our amazement, there was 9 gold Britannia coins in it. We just burst into tears. It was definitely an Easter miracle.
The 9 coins were left with a note on Salvation Army paper signed by a benefactor called James in July 2022. It was definitely a case of divine intervention.
We are in a bit of a pickle with a lot of repair work needed on this church. It's an ancient church and it was known as the Cathedral of the Lune Valley. It's that important within this part of Lancashire.
St Wilfrid's wasn't the only church to benefit from James's generosity. At least 2 others found similar donations back in 2022. But Reverend Lee believes it was God's will that they didn't find theirs at the time.
We've got more community backing now to the church, whereas 4 years ago we probably would have just spent it on the day-to-day running of it. Well, now it's there for a seed to get more funding, because when you apply for grants, you need to have some money to put up as match funding. And unfortunately, this church had no reserves at all. They had no money spare to be able to do that.
The coins were sold for £30,000. It's a fraction of the money they need. But James has given them the chance to keep St Wilfrid's open, although they doubt they'll ever know more about their guardian angel.
Nobody knows who he is, where he came from, but he's a very, very generous man, and so we are extremely grateful to him. A miracle has happened, so it's just wonderful news.
It's a lovely story. Reverend Lee obviously saying that because they were left, not anonymously, but just left and not handed over, they don't think James wants any publicity. But James, if you would like to meet them, they would love to say thank you to you in person. So get in touch with us and we'll put you in contact. Now, police are continuing to appeal for witnesses after the bodies of 2 men were found inside a crashed car 10 days after they were last seen. William Hutchinson and Stuart Tallis were found in Newton with Clifton. The car was hidden from view in thick undergrowth off Preston New Road. Thousands of homes and businesses have had their internet and phone lines restored following accidental damage to fibre optic cables. It meant that 3,000 customers in the Maghull area of Merseyside lost landline and Wi-Fi access on Thursday. Openreach says it happened during sewer excavation work on Hall Lane, which caused significant damage to part of its underground network. Hundreds of people on the Isle of Man have been celebrating its National Day today, watching the ancient open-air ceremony on Tynwald Hill in St John's. Tynwald Day sees politicians, the clergy, judiciary and other dignitaries take part. And the ceremony also sees the island's newest laws being read out in both English and in Manx.
It's an important part of history in the Isle of Man.
I think it's a really lovely kind of showing of Manxness and everyone coming together. You get to see all the traditions that maybe you don't see every day.
It's amazing, glorious weather, lots of spectacle.
Glorious weather. On that note, still to come on this evening's North West Tonight. Children at Marcus Rashford's primary school caught up on last night's England game together this morning.
And stick with us to find out how the upcoming heatwave is going to be slightly different to the one that we had back in June.
Now, this year marks 75 years of children's cardiac surgery in Liverpool. They're operations which have saved and transformed thousands of lives. Beginning in 1950 at the former Royal Liverpool Children's Hospital, heart surgery is now delivered between Alderhay Children's NHS Foundation Trust and the Liverpool Heart and Chest Hospital, which also, of course, treats adults. Well, tonight and tomorrow, we're going to hear from some of the families that they have helped, as Mairead Smith now reports.
3-year-old Rafi is the second patient on today's cardiac list at Alderhay Children's Hospital.
When he was a day old, they found that he'd had this hole in his heart. He was going for echoes every 6 months, and then they found that his aortic valve was being pulled into the hole. Then it's now starting to create aortic regurg, which is going to be an issue as he's growing up.
Rafi's surgery will be carried out by Ram Danapaneni, who has operated on thousands of children and adults in Liverpool.
This is termed as a curative operation, so it's a permanent fix, and he will get on with his life like any other little boy, and he will have a full potential to play competitive sports and live longer life like any other child.
He's incredibly proud of what's been achieved here over 75 years.
Liverpool was one of the earliest in the world to start operating on children way back in 1950. Alderhay Children's Hospital is the second biggest centre in UK and Ireland performing heart surgeries. We are having better outcomes, more children operated with heart surgery surviving now than before.
Even though this is a routine operation, it's still an anxious time for Rafi's parents.
I've said all along it's dead routine, so there's nothing to worry about. But when you're here now, it's a bit different. Now it matters. But I don't doubt the care could be any better. So yeah, we'll see him in a few hours and he'll be fine.
I had like a heavy feeling and really wobbly, but I think it was quite good that they asked us to be here the night before.
After surgery, Rafi was kept in hospital until he was well enough to return home to complete his recovery. 4.5 weeks later, this little boy is well and truly on the mend.
This last week, he's had confidence to move and be as if he's back to normal now. So I think the pain must have settled down, everything must be knitted together a bit better now.
Yeah, very relieved. It's just gone well, isn't it? It's just
like a box has been ticked now. He's all fixed.
But the trampoline is still out of bounds for a couple more weeks.
We were told he wasn't allowed to run, jump, bounce, bang, climb for 6 weeks. One of the cardiac nurses said it had to be very strict for the first 4 weeks.
Couldn't say thank you enough that it's all gone as well as it can do. I think the operation was quicker than we expected. The outcome seems to be pretty good, so...
They've done an amazing job.
Yeah, definitely.
Mairead Smith, BBC North West Tonight.
Wish Rafi all the best. More from Mairead tomorrow. It is Disability Pride Month, and Manchester's accessible fashion brand Recondition held a catwalk show to mark the occasion. An open casting saw models with disabilities from all across the country taking part in the event at Aviva Studios. The show aimed to challenge perceptions and to showcase a more inclusive future for the fashion industry, as Isabel Fry went to find out.
A runway where style meets inclusion, proving fashion can and should be accessible to all. Recondition wanted to host a show unlike any other.
It is quite rare that you get, especially a catwalk of people of that demographic coming together. It shouldn't be rare, but it is. So I think for a lot of people, especially if they have someone around them or a personal connection, it can be quite an emotional event. There's maybe 1 or 2 token in some of the shows, which I think is why it makes what we're doing so much more special, because it is completely different to what the industry standard is.
Models travelled from across the country to take part, all with their own unique story.
I thought it'd be a good opportunity to make the most of something that wasn't a choice and feel beautiful.
Maya was diagnosed with IBD 2 years ago. Within a month, she needed life-saving surgery and woke up with a stoma bag.
At the time, I was just happy to be alive, really. I think it's important that we see different people in the mainstream, so that when you're walking down the street and you see someone that looks a bit different, it's not so much of a shock.
For me, it was sort of about building my own confidence and putting myself out there. It's something I've never done before, probably something anyone who knows me would be like, why are you doing this? But I just thought with this group of people, I just felt so comfortable. This is what makes the difference in terms of fashion and accessibility for everyone, everywhere. Making things more mainstream, for people being able to see different types of disabilities and rocking fashion that they wouldn't necessarily have otherwise.
A lot of brands, I feel, say they're adaptable, say they're inclusive, but they generally don't consult disabled people. It's like a tick-box exercise. With Recondition, they have done that. They've listened to their market and they understand the assignment quite well.
Michael became an amputee in 2024 due to an infection. He wants people to be proud of their prosthetics.
People have a lot of shame about prosthetics and not showing them. And even just that one person who is going through amputations sees this and go, actually, you know what? He's gone through that. I'm going through this. I can relate. Do you know what I mean? There's no reason why I can't do that. That's how I think it works. It's all about relatability. And this is a very good opportunity to do that.
For those involved, it's hoped this is a step forward in making the fashion industry accessible to all. Isabel Fry, BBC North West Tonight, Manchester.
And well done to all involved. Here are some of the other stories you can read and watch online and on our social media channels this evening. More on England's win over Mexico on the BBC News and Sport websites, including this video. It's a Lancashire football fan, Paul, who's celebrating outside the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. You have to take my word for it. A young Beatles fan from Ireland, whose cover versions of the band's songs have been seen by thousands of people worldwide online, has fulfilled his dream of playing at the Cavern Club. Really well done to him. Elsewhere, the Blackpool South MP Chris Webb says he is hopeful that Blackpool Airport can eventually be revived. However, he says passenger flights are not commercially viable at the moment. You can read more about that. And campaigners who've been protesting for years about trees being chopped down at Poynton Pool are now working with Cheshire East Council on how to carry out the safety works there that are needed. You can find out more bbc.co.uk/local news. Have a look on the BBC News app or indeed on any of our social media sites. Here are some of the day's other bits of sports news. Liverpool's Neil Skupski and partner Christian Harrison of the USA are out at the last 16 stage of the men's doubles at Wimbledon. The French Open champions and number 5 seeds were beaten in straight sets, a bit of a slip of the tongue, straight sets by Thanasi Kokiakis and Alexander Kovacevic. I was so worried about the names of those tennis players. I made a right mess of that, didn't I? Excuse the slip. It was Super League's Magic Weekend, held for the first time at Everton's Hill Dickinson Stadium. On Saturday, Lee Leopards closed the gap to the top 6 in the table with a dominant 24 points to 6 win over Warrington Wolves. While on Sunday, St Helens held a narrow half-time lead, but Wigan scored the second half tries through Jai Field and Zach Eckersley to take command. The game finished Warriors 16, Saints 14. Magic Weekend apparently will stay. Tyreek George from Chelsea, the 20-year-old, spent the second half of last season on loan at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Now, the timing of England's game last night, of course, caused a dilemma for parents whether to let your children watch the match live or not. And for those pupils who were tucked up in bed, there was a chance to catch up first thing, with many schools replaying the game at the start of the school day. One of them was Marcus Rashford's former school in Wythenshawe in Greater Manchester, and Phil Cunliffe went to join them.
Year 6 students at Button Lane Primary were hoping to see former star pupil Marcus Rashford fire England into the quarter-finals. But in truth, they just wanted England to win. Those who already knew the result were told not to spoil things for those who didn't.
Well, I can't work out whether I went to bed very late last night or I got up very early, but I have seen the game. But for most of the people in this classroom here, they don't know what's going to happen.
Any anxiety?
At the back! Great goal, obviously. Defence of Mexico, shocking. Feel good, easy.
One Jude Bellingham goal soon became 2 as England took control.
Diving header by Jude Bellingham. He's really good. And he's my favourite player, so great game overall.
Well, England will still win though because they've got pretty good players and they've got pretty good tactics.
Mexico's goal back didn't spoil things.
England will still win. I think they still have a chance.
Are you worried though Mexico have scored?
No, I don't think they'll worry because England's the best players.
England down to 10 men, but Harry Kane's penalty soon restored hope. Only for the striker to then concede a penalty, and the worried looks were back.
Absolutely horrible. He wouldn't even a foul. It shouldn't have been a penalty. It's no contact, really.
With England leading 3-2 and hanging on, there were calls for Marcus Rashford, one of their own, to come off the bench. But England's Wonderwall defence held firm.
In England's World Cup history!
I'm so proud of England because they won and we're going through the quarter-finals. It's just amazing.
England's going to get through. I think they're going to win the World Cup.
It's good that they've kept the result quiet if they did know it, and they've just really enjoyed the game.
Marcus Rashford's talents were not needed on this occasion, but with Norway up next, pupils and staff are hoping that his finest hour for England is still to come.
Marcus Rashford didn't get on the pitch this time, but he's made a great contribution leading up to this game, and we're hoping he'll get on in the coming games and really make his mark. The children are dying to see him on the pitch. They love to see Marcus play.
Phil Cunliffe, BBC North West Tonight in Wythenshawe.
A few people probably tired today, slipping over their words and all sorts, I imagine, Molly.
Let's hope for the best with an eye forecast then. So today we have had quite a lot of cloud about, temperatures around 23 degrees Celsius as a high. Come on, England, what a great photo that is. Thank you very much for your photos, as always. But an upcoming heat wave on the way from midweek. Temperatures could reach exceeding 30 degrees Celsius for the likes of Cheshire, Greater Manchester, but mid-20s quite widely. It's going to feel slightly different, though, to the last heat wave in June. So we have high pressure situated to the west, so it's going to bring fresher, more Atlantic air, so it's not going to feel quite as oppressive or as humid, certainly at first, and also at night time it's not going to be quite as warm, so we will have some relief. This is how it's looking this evening. We do have a cold front bringing an awful lot of cloud, mostly with a little bit of showers towards Cumbria, but most of us staying dry. Lows of 13 degrees Celsius to Manchester, towards the likes of Cumbria, the Isle of Man, a bit of a cloudier picture, but light winds and highs of 23 degrees Celsius. And can you see our new place on the weather map, just hidden behind the wind there? Stubshaw Cross, sent in by Jeans Jules. Thank you very much for your suggestion. And then on Wednesday, we should have a bit more sunshine generally, maybe a little bit of cloud towards Cumbria, but we should have more sunshine from the word go on Wednesday. And then we'll start to see temperatures creep up. 27 degrees as a high. You can see cooler towards the likes of Cumbria again and on the Isle of Man. But the heat is going to peak on Thursday and Friday. And the difference with this heat wave potentially is going to last for a bit longer as well. Roger.
Stubshaw Cross, it's in Ashton in Makerfield.
It is indeed.
No one's ever heard of that place, have they? Molly, thank you very much indeed. Late news a little bit later than usual this evening. Anna is here with that, but from all the team, thank you for watching. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.